Good morning guys, I am Panda from CMR Engineering College. Today we are going to discuss the constructor in C++. See, as far as the concept of the constructor is concerned, whenever an object is to be created, this concept comes into the picture. And in C++ or in Java, it is a special function that actually automatically invokes when the object is to be created. Now let us try to understand the concept of the constructor through a C++ program. Let me write a program for you. Let's say I am including input output string here using namespace std, and let me create a class. Let's say class xyz. We are having a class here, and inside the class, as you know, we can have our data member and member methods, member functions. So in C++ there are three categories of the data or member function. Some may be in private segment, some may be in protected segment, some may be in public segment. So three categories are there, three access specifiers are there. As per our need, we keep the data and the member function inside this area. Let me have private data member here. Int a, and suppose I am going to create an object of this class inside my main function. Here in C++, simply we create the object by writing the class name. Let's say class name is xyz, then object name. Let's say OK. In this way, the object is created in C++. As and when this object is created, see, right now we do not have any constructor here, but the object will be created. So the question arises, without a constructor, how an object can be created? So if the constructor is not there inside the class, the default constructor comes into the picture and that creates the object. Constructor means a special function that is responsible to construct the object. So I am going to create an object in the main function, and when this program starts executing, this statement will be executed, and this statement is responsible to create this object. This object needs a constructor, and constructor is not here. So if the constructor is not here, not defined or not declared inside the class, then default constructor would work. And how that will work? See, the skeleton of the default constructor is like this, but this is not written. The compiler will treat that as this is written here, like this is my name of the constructor. Here I don't have anything inside the body of the constructor, so except the creation of the object, nothing will be happening, and this is not written. Okay, it will be not written in case of the default constructor, but the compiler will treat this in this way. Now, and when this object will be created, what will be happening? The control will be going to the default constructor, and default constructor will come into the picture, and that will create the object. How this object will be created? In the memory, a space will be allocated for this object. Now question arises, how much space? So the space will be calculated by how many data members we are having in that class. So only one data member we are having in this class, and the size of this integer is 4 byte, and this a. So inside the object, the memory of the object, an a will be created. So this got created. without writing a constructor, we can create that object because of the default constructor. Now let's see. The object got created, and here memory created for this A. This A is created in the private section. And by default, when the memory is created, since this object is an automatic object, the memory will be having the default value. Some garbage, not default, some garbage value. And see, these values will, this value will be unpredictable. We cannot predict this value. It will be decided by the operating system what value is there. So right now the question arises, suppose I want to insert some value inside that memory, then what to do? So in this case, value that will be available in this A will be garbage value, and there are two options are there. Either I can create a public member function inside the public scope of this class, and through that member function I can access that A. Another approach is, let me have a constructor in the public segment, and as and when the object I want to create, at that time only I will give some value to that object, and that object will be initialized then and there. So for that, let me create a constructor inside the public section. And the constructor will be, the name of the constructor will be same as the class name. So it will be xyz, opening bracket, closing bracket, and body of the constructor. Now, I want the value to be initialized inside the data member of the object during the creation. So during the creation only, during the creation of the object, when I will be writing the name of the object, here I will be passing the value. Since I will be passing the value during the creation, that value will be going to the constructor. In this constructor, there must be a parameter that will be receiving that value. Let's say I want to pass value as, let's say, 20. 20 is an integer number. So here, during the creation of this object, the control will automatically come to this constructor, and this constructor should be compatible as per the definition of this object. Now look here, we are passing an integer value, so there must be a parameter here that should be receiving an integer value. So I am taking a variable here, let's say int m. Now look here, during the creation of the object, we are passing 20. 20 is an integer. Automatically the constructor will be invoked by its nature, and the control will be going to the constructor. This value will be transferred from here to this m. Now this constructor is compatible with this object, you can say, definition. Now the 20 will come into this m, and as and when this 20 will come into this m, I will be assigning the value of m to this a. I will be able to do so because I am doing all this work inside the class. Though it is a private data member, but since I am doing it inside the class, so this is allowed, and the value of the m can be transferred to this a, and ultimately this 20 will be stored in this a. Now in this way, we can initialize the object by the use of the constructor. Thank you.